We all have a debt of gratitude to our teachers. Your first teacher, Dr. Jim Suddy,
Yep.
introduced you to John Redmond. They broke you down completely. What did they tell you to do?
Well, I'll tell you what, the first time I ever saw my swing on film, and Doc Suddy was ahead of his time, sequence cameras and all that stuff back in 1978, 79. And first time I saw my swing on film, I said, "How's that look, Coach?" Kind of confident, you know. He goes, "Well, Paul, you're across the line, you're past parallel, you're on your left side at the top, got no leg action, and your club face is dead shut." It's like, "Where do we start, Coach?" So, and you know, that was it. And he says, "Let's start with some leg action," and that's what I did. He used to, you know, I would at night I'd get up against kind of the wall. I'd get, you know, at the door jamb or whatever in front of the door, and I'd get my left leg, my left foot against the wall, and I would go like this and just slam my left leg, my left knee into that wall, and I wouldn't make a full swing, and I would do this and just keep doing that to where I could get my left leg to move the right direction. And that was kind of how it all started. They both, Suddy and Redmond, accepted my grip and taught around my grip, and they accepted the fact that the club face was dead shut. You know, there's really been a bunch of good shut face players, but it's just a different way to go at it. You just got to go at it differently. I released the club knuckles up. I probably shortened my swing significantly. I used to see the driver at the top of my backswing in my left eye. And I got to where I had some movement. I was no longer on my left side at the top of the backswing. So all that happened, Brandel, and you know, all of a sudden I started hitting the ball really well. I won a few tournaments in college, and then I got my card my first try, and I kept losing my card, but then finally in 1984 I won tour school, and then from that point on I just got better and better.
That transformation is one of the most amazing stories I've heard in golf. When you met John Redmond, you had never broken 70. 3 years later, you were on the PGA Tour. 5 years later, you were Player of the Year in 1987, as I alluded at the top of the show.
Yeah.
You talked about what Suddy did with you. John Redmond, now, I've read his book. He talks about light grip. He talks about having a natural backswing.
Yeah.
He talks about swinging in a barrel. Are these all things that initially he threw at you?
Oh yeah, for sure. And he taught me how to shorten my swing with my wedges. I started to hit wedges. You know, if you want to try to shorten your golf swing, you can't start with a driver. So John was a real hands-on guy. He would get in front of me, and as I held the club like this, he would take me to the top and put me in a position, and I could feel where that was, and I could duplicate and put that there. He'd get behind me and he'd hold my hips, and he would, I guess, watch my backswing, and as I got to a certain spot, he would start me back down, and he would, you know, he wasn't sliding my hips, he was turning my hips like this. You know, if you had a hula hoop around you, you know, you can do this, make a circle around yourself, and you can see that circle. And what I would do is I would hit balls, and I would try to never let my left hip hit that circle. As much as I moved off it, my right hip would never hit that circle on the ground. It'd be like as I was standing in an apple barrel or something like that.
So they didn't talk to you about your grip, didn't change your grip. Everything you've said so far, they're lower body conscious, made you lower body conscious.
Yeah, big time lower body conscious. My goal was to try to get my left hip cleared out of there as fast as I could with a relaxed grip, let my arms and hands carry the message. You know, that was the thing. But you know, here's the real key in golf. If I'm going to draw a line right here, Brandel, maybe I should go this direction against the grain or something. Okay. There we go. If every good player, if you put that golf ball on the line, when they make a swing, every good player's divot's on this side of the line. Every poor
and they do that with weight transfer, right?
That's right. Every poor player's divot is on this side of the line because they're falling back. And so if you watch this, when I make this swing, my divot comes off in front of that line. Every player on tour's divot is on this side of the line. And if you can get your divot over there, you can begin to hit a draw or a hook. I would bet you that 99.99% of the golfers who've ever played golf for a living fought a hook at one point in their life, but they all learned how to hold it off.
But now wait a minute now, because a lot of people these days are just sitting up to the ball and going, well, wait a minute, okay, if I got to get my divot in front of that line, I'm just going to hang left, stay left, and I get my divot in front of that line.
Yeah, but it's a game of opposites, isn't it? I mean, generally it's a game of opposites. If you're hung left and stay left, the tendency to get the ball up in the air is to want to fall back to do it.
They didn't teach you that. Suddy and John Redmond, you were moving off the ball and moving into it.
I move both ways. A guy like Jimmy Ballard would confirm that. Every great player's loaded into their right side, and they spring that shaft like they're trying to square an axe to a tree. And when he said that to me, it was like, you know, I worked with everybody, man. I worked with, you name an instructor that you've heard of, I've probably spent some time with that fella. But the idea of squaring that axe to a tree, you would never fall back doing it. When Jimmy said that to me, that made so much sense. And that's the idea, except when you square the axe, you get that one result. But when you hit that golf ball, you get that second result. And the tendency is to want to lift it, and that's where the trouble starts.